Let's get our guest speaker up here. This gentleman hails from Summersville, South Carolina, doing a fantastic job. Him and his lovely wife, they are just already knocked out an RD, another RD, a couple more RDs, he'll be RVP, and he's not that far from it. And I know these conventions and what he's big on. And by the way, I just want to say this to Mr. Evans publicly. I had 7 people in the last week or two and share with me. I don't know if they share with you how much they enjoy you doing the training, because it's not mindset, it's actually a training in how things work, and also going in the back office, sir. So I got 7 people in the last 2 weeks that commented how much they enjoyed learning from you. And ladies and gentlemen, a lot of stuff that he's teaching is all in the back office, but sometimes we just don't get to it, do we? Well, with that, we want to thank him. And without further ado, can we give a warm welcome to Regional Director out of Summersville, South Carolina, none other than Mr. Curtis Evans.
Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Let's see what we got to do. I'm glad everybody's here today. We are real happy. Al, I really enjoyed the call we were on last night. We learned a whole lot. There's a lot of things going on in this company. You are really blessed. Everyone on the call, you're blessed to be a part of this company. But I want you to stop and be a little introspective. How did you get to here where you are today? How did you get to here? I mean, not on this call, but just in a business like this. Most of us, like myself, went to school, and we went to school. They trained us. They trained us how to be an employee. So, you know, that blank look at people look at you when you're trying to show them what this is all about. And they look like, I mean, it's almost like you're showing them a ghost or you're trying to get me to quit my job. I think the favorite thing I got to explain to them is the fun part about this is you get to keep your job while you build the business. If you don't say something like that, they think you're trying to get them to quit their job and do what you're doing. It's amazing what people are thinking when you're showing them the plan. And so you got to do a few things. One of the things I learned from Mr. Thomas is shake your head up and down. A lot of times people need to see some affirmation that you really believe in what you say. Even on a presentation like this, just constantly shake your head up and down, and you know that you agree with this. It makes sense. Doesn't this make sense? But how did you get here? How did anybody on this call get into the business? With the training that you had, if you had 2 parents, probably neither parent had a business, or neither parent was running a big business. Maybe your grandmother, grandfather weren't running. You didn't have an example in your family of someone that did something really big. And multi-level marketing, network marketing, specifically ACN, is a really unique business. Okay, and the reason that I finally found and fell in love with it was because for a small amount of money, anybody could start a business. First of all, you have to appreciate what you have. Okay, and what I mean appreciate what you have is a typical person starting a business, to start a franchise. If you're starting McDonald's, what do y'all think it costs to start? I don't have the answer to this, but what do you think it costs to start a McDonald's? What do you think it costs to start a Chick-fil-A? What do you think it costs to start a Arby's or Applebee's? Thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars. And most of the people, not I would say most, all of the people that start those business, none of them, I mean zero, none of them had the money to start it up. So first of all, I want you to understand that anybody that starts a business typically borrows the money to start the business. They go to a bank with a business plan, and they have to go to it several times in order to get a business. I have some Indian friends of mine that came from India. They came with nothing. And I remember talking to Mr. Singh one day, and I asked him, how did you get the business started? He said, we went down and they had a ton of hotels at this time, and then they had some gas stations. I said, well, how did you get the business started? He said, we went to the bank and we told the bankers that we needed money for a business. They told us to come back with a business plan. They came back with a business plan, and the business plan was no good. And they showed them what was wrong. And they had to keep coming back, another business plan after another business plan after another business plan after another business plan. Finally, they got their first gas station. Okay, they had their first gas station, and they started running that. And he told me over the years, he said, we're still not good at running gas stations. And he told me, I knew him a long time. He said, and we're still not good at running hotels. He said, but we're good at applications. He said, we're good at we've learned what they want to know. And he said, so when they go in and do their presentation to the banker, they have the application done right, they have the business plan put together right. And if everything's right, they would get a new gas station, they'll get a new hotel. So he said, we're not good at running hotels, we're not good at running gas stations, but we're good at presentations, so that's exactly what we do. Our job is kind of crazy. Someone showed us a presentation. Somebody showed you a presentation. You could not have just said, I want to do ACN, and you went out and looked for it and signed up. No, somebody found you, showed you a presentation, and it made sense. And what made sense about the business? The thing that made sense was these are bills that everyone is paying right now. If they're in the business or not in the business, they are still paying these bills. Wouldn't you like to get paid when other people pay their bills that they're going to pay anyway? Wouldn't you? And to you, it made sense. Now, some people, that doesn't make any sense. Okay, some people, that doesn't make any sense. Why would I want to get paid on bills that other people, I mean, for whatever reason, they just don't get it. And I say that there's nothing wrong with them. I probably don't get why they're doing what they're doing. If they have to get up 3 o'clock in the morning or climb a ladder or go down into a pipe and a dark, do some crazy work that they do, in my mind, I probably wouldn't get that, but they get it and they do it. So if everybody doesn't get what you're doing, that's okay. Like Jesus said in the Bible, shake the dust off your sandals and go to the next person. But evidently somebody saw something in you. Somebody saw something in you and they thought to themselves, you would be good at this. In their brains, they said you would be good at this. So they wrote your name down and then they called you. And then, well, guess what happened? You agreed to sit down and listen. And generally, you didn't sign up the first time. You may not have signed up the first time, but something happened in your life. Something was going on in your life. Something was cranking in your life. The boss is giving you a hard time. The company's about to shut down. They're starting to lay off. Something was going on. I'm tired of this place. I'll do anything. Something was going on in your life for you to be receptive to the information. Okay. So however, whatever happened to you, and you were blessed because you came into a business that could pay you and your family for hundreds of years, lots and lots of money. Okay, people like Mr. Thomas, people that have been around the business. We're on a call last night with another professional that Al knows, and some of these people you just don't want to see what they make every week or every month or every year, and that's the profession that you're in. So we have to not be an amateur. We have to take this business and become a what? Professional. Amateurs that fish don't make any money fishing on the side of the road in a pond. People that bowl at the bowling alley, they don't make any money going to bowl. In fact, they got to pay to go to the bowl, and they got to pay to fish. They got to buy a fishing rod. But people that are professionals in all those industries, they make a lot of money. So if you look at this business right now, like Mr. Thomas and a horde of people that's in this business that are making a lot of money, they took it seriously and they became a professional. And so when a situation comes up, more than likely they know what to do in that situation. And the only reason Mr. Thomas knows is because he's messed up so bad. He's tripped up, fell down. And how do you learn to walk? How do you learn to walk? When you first learn to walk, your mom put you on the floor, or you start crawling, and you got to crawl before you walk, and you fell down a lot. Very few mothers looked at their babies and said, I don't think he's going to be a walker. Very few mothers just looked at their child and said, he won't be a walker. The baby will fall and fall and fall and fall. And then one day, out of the blue, they stand up and they figure it out and they go to walking. So if you stay around the business long enough and stay around the heat, stay around the fire, okay, you can't get too far away from the fire. You stay around the fire, and I call those conventions, okay? Zoom meetings and conventions. You stay around the fire, one day something will click. Now, we don't know. I wish we knew what that was. If we knew what that was, I'm sure we'd all be filthy rich, but something will click. And you'll say, hey, I want to be a professional. I want to do this at that level. Okay. And then you're off and going. And then you will erase all of the bad training that you had in your whole life, and you'll flip over and you will become a professional at multi-level marketing. It works. It works for everybody. I contend, I drive a Prius right now. and I saw a Prius in 2005 at Reggie Lawson's house. His brother pulled up and he had a Prius that I'm mechanically inclined. So he was explaining to me how that thing worked. Then a few years later, I bought one, then I bought another one. So I drive a Prius and I drive a Porsche. So if you got a P in it, I probably have it. Okay. So, but what I'm telling you is I bought it because somebody else had a Prius. Somebody else showed me a Prius. If they didn't show me a Prius, I probably wouldn't have one. I drove a Porsche one day. Somebody explained it to me. I bought one. What I'm saying to you is this. You will become a professional at this. And when you become a professional, something will happen and something will click. Now, the other thing that we have to do is we got to be around professionals, okay? And where's the best place to be around professionals in this business? We have a meeting every month and a half, 2 months, and that's the International. So I want you to invest in yourself, okay? Invest in yourself. If nobody on your team goes, you need to go. Now promote the conventions, but if nobody else goes, I want you to go, because at the presentations, at the conventions, at the big conventions that we have, you're going to be around a lot of what? Professionals. And professionals will be on stage. You can shake their hands. You can talk to them. You can listen from the side while they're talking to some other people. You get a chance to meet some of the co-founders. You probably will go across stage if you made a promotion. So one of the things that happened to me is when the security guard at the place I worked explained to me that I need to show you how to make some serious money. I didn't know what he was talking about. I knew what he made because I was HR guy there, but he kept talking about making some serious money. Why don't you really stick his head in my door? Why don't you come in and make some serious money? Why don't you go to a meeting with me? And finally, he convinced me to go to a meeting. I went to the meeting, and guess what? I walked out because I didn't know what he was talking about. It made no sense. In fact, they were showing us a plan for us to make $65,000 a month. That's what they showed us in the meeting. Well, I didn't make $65,000 a month, and nobody I knew made that much money. So I thought something was a little bit odd. But about 8 months later, something changed in my life. And I'm going to tell you what happens. There's a rule in our business called the fortune is in the what? The fortune is in the what? The follow up. See, and what I learned last night from Shane said that a lot of people simply don't what? Follow up. We think because they said no one time, that meant no forever. What no mean, when they said no, they're generally saying, I don't know. That's generally what they're saying. I don't know, because this is different. This is different. And you get leverage in it. So please understand that just like you probably didn't say yeah the first time I'm in, and then 2 seconds later signed up to come into business, just like you probably didn't do that, then you got to give some people some leeway and then follow with them. Now, don't aggravate them to death, but put them in your calendar and follow up with them every month, every 2 months, every 3 months, every 6 months, or just after the presentation, you just say something like, hey, is it okay if I follow with you in a year, 6 months or a year? And most of the times when I do that, they always say, oh, no, don't wait a year. Give me a couple of months. They always say that. They never say, oh, don't call me back. They never say, don't call me back. I'm not interested in that at all. They are interested. They just really don't understand what this is. So if you show them the business presentation and they for whatever reason, they didn't sign up, a lot of times they are confused about the money, because on their job, they didn't need any money to get their job. And they're putting this thing you just showed them, the business, in the category of the one thing they know is a job. So when you say $324 or $500 or $1,000, they're confused. Why would I pay to get a job? I don't understand that. And so a lot of things are going on. And Mr. Thomas does a very effective business presentation. If you never heard one, you'll hear how a professional does a presentation. He overcomes the objectives as he's doing the presentation. As the presentation, he knows what's going on in their brain. And so he's overcoming those objectives fairly early. For instance, $324 sounds like a lot of money. We all know it isn't. But if you don't have it, $324 is a lot of money. But he makes a point of showing them how we're going to make between $1,000 and $1,500 in the next few weeks. And then all of a sudden, $324 is not a lot of money. It's just not a lot of money. And it's together, we're going to be able to do that. So there are things that we're going to learn as we get into the business and understand that, one, they weren't trained to be a what? an employee. So they're going to look at the business like what? Employee. And if they look at it like an employee, they probably won't get started. So we got to show them that this is a business and it's going to cost to get this business. But together, we're going to take that investment that you put in. They're thinking cost because that's how we're trained. They're thinking cost. It's an investment. So whenever someone starts a Chick-fil-A or they start a McDonald's and they have to go to the bank to get $1 million, $1.2 million, $1.6 million, they are putting an investment in to that business. And so we have to look at this like a small investment. Now, they're not going to see it that way. And so I tell everyone, when I first got started, I make this clear. I didn't have the money. So I answered the question. I didn't have the extra money to start a business. And I just borrowed it. I borrowed it. That was the best decision I ever made. I got 2 decisions I made that were really good decisions. And one of them was getting into multi-level marketing. At the time, it was $590. And I had to borrow the money to get started. And if I waited till I had the money, I would have never had it. Because if you were 40 years old when I first learned multi-level marketing, and I have $590, then I probably won't have it next week. And I probably won't have it the next week. So the best thing to do is what? Borrow the money. It's really smart. We borrow it for everything else. We borrow it to go on a trip. We borrow it because we need tires for the car. We borrow it for a lot of reasons. But this is a long-term investment. So we learn those things. Now I want to show you something here on the screen. And I want you to become really familiar with this if you can. And I'm going to just show you that the co-founders, the guys that have been in the business a long time, that have been around a long time, are really excited about this business. And they are right now. So this is James Adlam. He's going to just show you now. If they are excited about this business, as they should be, why wouldn't we be?
I was sitting in the room last night and I was thinking to myself, you know, some founders pride themselves on building companies to sell, to build a cash out. Like that's their whole thing, build it as big as possible, cash it out. And for me, 2 things hit me. Number one, they are fired up. And when the leaders are fired up, how could you not be? That's number one. Number 2, the longevity of leadership. Like it's the same 4 founders that started the company.
So as one of, I hope I did that right. Okay, can everybody hear me okay? So if the four guys that started the business, are still fired up, okay? They got the business of $1-2 billion business, and guess what? They're trying to get it to a $10 billion business. If you have $100 a month residual income check, you're trying to get it to $1,000 a month, okay? And then $10,000 a month, and then $20,000 a month, because business owners really, that's what they're doing. They're trying to grow their business. So you're looking for someone else that wants to grow a business, and you're going to teach them how to do that. And remember, keep in mind, when you first got started, your mindset wasn't right. And most of the people, I learned last night, most of the people, their mindset is not about building a business. Their mindset is to get a good job. And I'm going to tell you the problem with most people, they brag about how easy their job is. In fact, when you brag about how easy your job is, you're bragging about how little you get paid. Because if your job is really, 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 really easy, you're probably not getting paid a whole lot of money. So instead of saying, I want to grow and build, people are bragging about, all I got to do is, you'll hear them say this, yeah, well, I don't get paid, but all I got to do is this. And whatever they give me, I'll take that. I just don't want to do no more than that. And so in this business, another thing I learned in multi-level marketing from going to the first thing I was told after I got into the business was you need to go to a training class. Now, if you have an IBO that gets into the business that doesn't get trained, he's not an IBO. He's not an IBO. How can you say, I bought an airplane, but I didn't get no training? I didn't go to training. I'm ready to fly the plane. You got to go to training. So they told me to go to Florence. I went to Florence and I saw Beth Henson and Jimmy Dick and Diane Chapman. I was just blown away at the quantity of money that could be built. And I looked around. Then they said at that meeting that I needed to go to Atlanta. And I went down to Atlanta, and there's another leader there called Ronnie Kirkland. He gave me some information that those other guys didn't give me. And Ronnie told us that we had to be in where? Dallas, Texas. So I went to Dallas, Texas. And that's why I saw Mr. Thomas for the first time going across stage, giving a presentation in front of 25,000 people. right? So how did I know that years later, when I was ready to start another business, because I was ready to start another business, that I would get on the phone one day. It took me 2 weeks to get his phone number, 2 weeks calling all kind of IBOs. And finally, Diane Chapman told me she had it, but she wouldn't give it to me because she was doing another business and she wanted me to get into business with her. And I said, Diane, 30 times, I need Al's number. I need Al's number. And finally, she gave me the number. I called him. He was going on stage somewhere else. And he said, I'll call you back. He did. And we got started. So this is not going to be pretty. This adventure that you're about to take in ACN, it's not going to be pretty. It is not, you're not going to sign up 6 people and 6 people will take you to SVP. You are going to learn a lot about who? You. That's because the IBOs are out there. It's just that we blow it some kind of way. First of all, by not offering them an opportunity to learn about becoming a business owner. We don't say enough. We don't talk enough. And last night I learned we don't talk enough to enough people. And then when we talk to them, we don't follow up with them. And when we follow up 6 months later, a year later, trust me, if you say, okay, this is not for you, you want me to follow with you in a year or 2 years. They'll always say, give me a couple months. They always tell me that. They never say, but somebody that don't want to do this, why would they say, call me in 2 months? That's because they want to do it. They just don't know, they don't know quite what it is. Or they think, or embarrassed they don't have the $324, which everyone has it because they simply got to borrow. So those, I want you to want to become a professional. You look at this like a business and become a professional. And everyone that made that jump from an IBO or just a rep or just a whatever, and made the jump into the world of professionalism. And Mr. Thomas has some tools he's gonna, I don't think that's good for me to explain it, but some tools are coming that are gonna help us to become professionals. And if you're a professional in this business, I'm not supposed to talk money here, but I'm telling you, you're gonna laugh at what you're making today. And you're gonna wonder, well, how in the world did I get along on the amount of money I made back then before I got into ACN and before I became a professional ACN? It's gonna be crazy that you can make what you used to make a year in a month. And if you keep doing it, what you used to make in a year, you can make it in a week if you keep doing it. And some make it in a day. So what I'm saying to you, let's learn this thing. Let's get down, let's get dirty, and let's learn this thing. All right, Mr. Thomas, that's all I got. We can pass it on to, I'll pass it back to you, okay?
Wow.